Okay, moving on to 14.2, we're going to look at how to complete the square to solve a quadratic equation. If you notice, this one is in standard form, and it is not factorable. If you tried to factor that in two binomials, it would not be factorable. So this is the method of completing the square. What we're going to do is we're going to copy down our first term, copy down our b term, then we're going to leave a space here, and we're going to add 14 to move our c term to the right side of the equation. So this is where we complete the square. What we're going to do is we're going to take half of b, and then we're going to square that number. So half of 6 is 3, and 3 squared is 9. Now since I added 9 to the left side of the equation, I have to add 9 to the right side of the equation. Students often forget that. So at this point, we've created a trinomial over here that's factorable. So I'm going to factor that into x plus 3, and then on the right side we have 23. And then here we can write this in a little fancier form as x plus 3 squared. And now we learned a process in 14.1, the square root method. We can square root this side and square root this side, but remember we have to put the plus or minus. So we have x plus 3 equals plus or minus the square root of 23. We would simplify that square root of 23 if we could, but it's not simplifiable, so we're gonna subtract 3 and subtract 3. So we end up getting two answers here. We get x is equal to -3 plus or minus the square root of 23. Okay. Now taking a look at this one, have another little step that we have to do, or something that we want to take care of first to make this process a little easier. We have our a term and our b term here, and our c term on this side. We could try to get it in standard form, and we'd find out it's not factorable. But we're going to, since we know this is in the completing the square section, it's probably a good idea that we're going to try to use that method. Now, if we notice, all of these can be divisible by -4. So we're taking basically the left side and the right side divided by -4. It's going to simplify our equation a little bit to x squared plus 8x. Remember, here's our space for completing the square, and then we have 3 here. So to complete the square, remember, we're going to take half of 8, and then we're going to square that number, half of b squared. So we end up getting 16 here. So I added 16 here, I add 16 here. So what I have now is x plus 4 times x plus 4, oops, not squared there, equals 19. X plus 4 squared equals 19. That's now a perfect square binomial. We can square root both sides, remembering our plus minus, and we have x plus 4 equals plus or minus the square root of 19. Subtract 4, and we have x equals -4 plus or minus the square root of 19. Okay, so that's the first two is completing the square.